Hey, welcome back. I have very weak memory or maybe ADHD, I'm not sure. Before, I used to take messy notes or maybe no notes at all during meeting. Days later, I forget everything. But this changed after building my second brain. So in this video, I'll show you how to take actionable meeting notes, which is easy to maintain and trackable. I'll show you a few things. For example, how to use template plugin to make a zero friction meeting note, then how to use natural language date to connect your meeting note with your daily note, and as well as how to track all of your meeting notes from your daily notes over here. And on top of that, we will discuss how you can record your meeting and finally get the transcription of your meeting and how you can actually convert those actionable items into tasks, and that will be reflected on your daily notes so that you can track all of your tasks from your multiple meetings if you are managing multiple projects. This is really cool. And on top of that, you can also tag person in your meeting what you want to assign part of your project or part of your task. So let's get started. If you are following me for a long time, you know I have been building my second brain for 3.5 years, and I marked 6,000 plus notes a few months back. And if you ask me how easy or difficult to start Obsidian, I would actually acknowledge that starting Obsidian has a steep learning curve. You have to learn how to set up the environment, which plugin to use. So therefore, to make your note-taking process streamlined and so that you can start today, I created a Obsidian starter kit, and let me share the link over here. You will be able to find the starter kit link in the description below. And this is the official website where you can download the starter kit. Also, you can download the starter from my GitHub webpage. I will provide the link in the description below. And after that, you will be able to find a folder, something like this. In this video, I will use this Obsidian starter kit to demonstrate you how to actually take meeting notes, which is actionable and easy to maintain. Okay, if you're already using Obsidian and you want to open the Obsidian starter kit for this tutorial and for your future use case, follow me. So go at the bottom left over here and go to manage vault. And this is actually the starting or first page if you start your Obsidian for the first time. Okay, since I'm providing you the Obsidian vault, you will open the Obsidian folder as a vault. So then click over here. Before clicking open, let me actually copy the folder location. This is the Obsidian starter kit folder location. I'll go over here and then paste the location. So this will actually bring up the folder and start fresh new Obsidian vault. Okay, just wait for a few seconds. I see. So this is the starter vault, and on the left side you can see there is a whole lot of folder structure as well as documentation for you to start with, as well as a whole tree structure in the Obsidian starter vault. Okay, this is cool, right? So you are starting from this point. Okay, the only purpose of this video is to show you how to take actionable meeting notes. Okay, I will work on one of my pet project that I have developed recently, and the project is called The Space. So the idea of this project is to whenever I write any blog post inside Obsidian, I have a single click button in top of the top right corner, which actually posts my blog directly into my blog website. So therefore, this is the demo project I've selected to show you how to take meeting notes. Okay, and then since this is a pet project, I'll start with creating a new mock notes, which is we already know map of content. Okay, let's start with mock notes, and let me actually start with MOC and thus press. So this is the top level folder notes. Okay, and if you want to see where this file is located, you can actually see over here in the top left side. And this is another thing I also want to mention, that this file is simple markdown. Okay, let me show you. Click on this file and show in System Explorer. And then you can see that this is just as usual typical markdown file, an empty markdown file. Okay, let's go back to our note. And the next thing I'll do, whenever I create a new project or new map of content for that particular project, I use template which is called mock template. And in your Obsidian starter kit, I already configured those templates. You see idea template, log template, mock template, permanent node template, private node template, task template. You already have all of the templates pre-configured. Okay. So I want to use over here MOC, which is the map of content. Let's actually press insert template button, and this bring up all of the template option available in this Obsidian starter kit. So let's select MOC template. So you see this populates a lot of stuffs for me to start with, right? And this has some properties, title, date, tags, aliases, and this has few quick notes, placeholder, not a notes already, idea of mock dash space, task of mock dash space, and all notes. And then normally what I do, I keep all of the project related notes over here, and if I'm not sure, I actually put that note over here, and next time when I have a decision, then I just organize notes inside all notes. Okay. Now, inside quick notes, I will create few meeting notes. So for the sake of the video, let's consider Sam is my boss and he is actually directing me on this project. Okay, let's create a new note. Then I will start with square bracket, then write log Sam. Okay, so let me tell you why I use log. Normally, all of the meeting notes and all of the project notes, which are just kind of journal type of notes, I put a log at the beginning of that file name because this filters out all of my meetings or project related daily journals. Okay, that is the purpose. And I also have another coworker and her name is Swati. Create another log notes LOGSWATI. Okay, nice. So that means I just created a placeholder. I haven't created the note yet. Then if I click on this log SAM, then it will create a new note and you can actually validate this from the left side of your pet project over here, log SAM. So go back and then create the same note for Swati. This time I will press Ctrl and click. So this way it will create the note in a new tab. Okay. It's cool, right? Okay, so let's go with Sam over here. And the first thing I will do over here is use a template so that I have pre-configured stuff and populate my page so that I can start easily. And for that purpose, I have actually another template which I call log template over here. So our job is to actually insert the log template in log SAM. So let's insert the log template, insert template, and start with and write LOZ. So you can see that the log template populated the log SAM page. So that means I have something to start with, right? Similarly, insert template inside log Swati node, insert template, log template. Okay. Now let's go back to SAM and start a new meeting. So one of the important thing I show over here, I try to keep dates which are connected with my daily notes. But writing down dates and making connection with daily note, which is cumbersome process. For example, today is 2025-08-13. Okay, so I can write this manually because this will create a connection with my daily note. But the thing is like, I want to automate this process. It is cumbersome to every time look into the date, what is the date today, and then write down and making connection. Let me show you how I can actually make this process automated. Okay, let me delete this one and go to setting, community plugin, and then go browse and search for natural language date. So the good thing about natural language date is you can actually insert date just by writing a few words. Okay, let me show you the demo. Install and then enable. Okay, then go back. Then natural language dates is ready over here from the left side. Then you can select what is your preferred date format. Week start. For me, it's Monday. I think that's all I need. Okay, and then I start with a header that is H3. Then now I'll show you the magic. Start with at the rate and today. You see? So this is actually so fast and useful during meeting, because during meeting I have to keep track of the dates with my meeting notes, and I do not want to look into my mobile or laptop what is the date today and write down. I just do at the rate today. That's it. This is so simple, right? Okay. This meeting is kind of intensive. I need to actually write down everything my boss is instructing me, but it is difficult for me to concentrate on writing the meeting as well as listening carefully. So I know this is difficult. Normally, what I used to do, I just write down the important points, but for nitty-gritty details, I record the meeting with permission. Then I go ahead with record button over here. This start recording my meeting, and this is very good way. Okay, if you do not see record button in your meeting note, you will go code plugin and then enable from here. Okay, this is really cool, and this is good way to identify the nuance of any problems or any discussion. If you want to identify the something which is kind of not easy to remember, you can actually go back to recording and identify that. But the good thing about this is at the end of this video, I will show you how you can use this recording and use AI to identify the all actionable items and any details you need to know about this discussion. So essentially, you will be able to speak to your boss maybe in future. And this is good point, right? For the demonstration purpose, I'm recording this for last few minutes, and let me stop the recording, and before that put my cursor over here. This is important. So that means it recorded the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and let me actually play this recording. Start recording my meeting, and this is a very good way. You see that? Okay, this is cool, right? So that means you can actually keep track of your meeting this way as well. So my boss Sam and I am discussing about the current state of the space. So, which is the plugin I'm discussing about, which can post directly from Obsidian to your blog. Okay, this is cool. And currently, we are actually discussing that it can actually post directly to GitHub page type of blog. Okay, and sanitize markdown and local preview, and then it also filter and date image URL. So this is what I'm actually writing down the notes, writing the bullet points from our discussion. Then my boss is actually asking me to do few of the tasks. For example, he's actually asking me to add WordPress support. Okay, he's also asking me to add another feature so that whenever I'm posting any block from Obsidian, the Dustpress will be able to compress the image for web. So that means, and the feature is compress image. So this is the things we are discussing during meeting, what to do, what is the actionable items. But those things we can write down in a plain bullet format. This is very typical way of taking notes, normally what we used to do. But my goal is not to show you this typical way. I'll show you something a little bit different, which is actionable, and you can keep track of your task. Okay, let me show you how I do this. If you are using this plugin, I already pre-configured a few things, and I also have made video on those things, how to keep track of task. So I believe you will be able to get the link in the right side top corner over here, or check in the description below for the video link. So there are two things I pre-configured in this starter kit. One is the daily note and another one is the task plugin. So let me actually show you how this works. So since these two items are actionable, instead of writing just a bullet point, I will write this as the actionable task, and for that I will create a checklist. Okay, let's start with creating a checklist, and the easy way to do is Control L, which creates the checklist. And the manual way is something like this: dash, space, square bracket, space. This creates the checklist. Okay. And then I will write down hashtag task. So what is my actionable task here? Add WordPress support. So for example, my goal is to add WordPress support today. So add WordPress support to Dustpress. So capitalize this. Okay. and I want to assign a due date. So my due date, select due date, and due date is today. So that means right now during meeting, I'm creating actionable task on the fly without moving into any other apps or anything or calendar. This is really cool. And I can track this. I do not need to come to this page later on if I want to track this. Let me show you how I do this. Click on a new and then press open daily note. So I already pre-configured daily note. Maybe you can just change according to your taste, according to your requirement. But this is what it is right now. And the cool thing is that you see the today's task add WordPress support to Daspress. So when you open Obsidian during a startup, I pre-configured that it will open your daily note. So that means as soon as you open your Obsidian, you'll see what is your task today, what is your weekly task you have to achieve. So this makes the task actionable. And I really like this feature and like this setup because I do not have to go to a different application to managing my task. Next cool thing. For example, you completed this task, you can just right click on this option and it will actually disappear from the daily note. And you also see that is also reflected over here that task is completed. Okay, the task is not completed. I want to go it back, something like this, right? So this is really cool. And let me schedule my next task for tomorrow. Okay, work on image compression or press. Okay, then due date, schedule it tomorrow. Okay, now let me see how my daily note looks like. So you see today's task, I only have WordPress support, and weekly task, I have WordPress support as well as image compression work. And this is just a plain formatting. You can organize or beautify it according to your taste. But my goal is to keep things simple so that I can keep track of and get things done. That's my goal. This is cool, right? Now I'll show you few cool things how I tag people during task. For example, my boss is actually asking me to do more stuff on top of this. He's asking me to add SEO support, which I do not have bandwidth this week. So I want to assign this task to one of my teammates. And so that means in my project, I have Swati, so I'll assign her this task. But how I will keep track of that when I'm having conversation with her next time. Okay, let me do you how I do this stuff things. So let's ask assign Swati SEO feature. So and due date, my due date is this Friday. Okay. But the thing is like it is highly likely that I'll forget this next time I'm discussing with Swati. Then how can I make a connection with log Swati when I'm actually having a meeting with my boss? So what I can do, I can actually just connect log Swati, not over here. And next time when I'm actually having meeting with Swati, something like that. For example, I am having meeting with Swati today. Then if I check, is there anything tagged? I can find that, okay, there is one tag, there is one link I mentioned about Swati during our last conversation with Sam. But the thing is, yeah, I can actually identify when I'm having conversation with her, but this is not intuitive, right? So to make it more intuitive and just like a tag feature, I will use another step over here, which is Aliases. Aliases is like a different name of that particular nodes. I already have a video on this, how you can set aliases or how you can utilize aliases. You can check over here or check in the link below. Okay. When I want to tag any person or any project, I set aliases with @ and swap this way. So that means I do not have to when I'm actually looking for Swati, log Swati, I can just search with this name as well. Let me show you. Control O @Swati. You see, this is cool, right? Okay. So that means I can actually tag Swati over here the same way, this intuitive way. That's fine. Square bracket @ and it already filter out Swati because I have only one person in this starter kit. So if you have more person, you will just have to write that name. This is cool, right? So you see right now this is so much intuitive. And as well as if you go to your daily note from here, you will see all of the tasks assigned to different person and you can have a meeting with them or set your priorities, assign tasks, get things done, whatever you want to do. So this is very cool way to use Obsidian to manage your task and keep track of everything, your personal knowledge base, your tasks, your meeting notes, all of stuffs. This is so much fun and this is so much useful and actionable. Okay, so since I have a good actionable task, I do not need those items. And now, last part, I will show you how I actually do the transcription of the recording and use AI to identify the transcription. So let me actually find the location of this audio file, right click, show in System Explorer. Okay, so this is the audio file and I will use this audio file to transcribe. Just remember one thing, since this is not sensitive information, I will use web services. But for my personal or company, something which is sensitive, I use my local transcription. I have developed a local transcription Python script which I utilize to actually transcribe the recording. If I will provide the link in the description below how you can set up your local transcription. But for this demo, let me use web transcription application. So if you search Whisper Web, you will find so many options because this is one of the OpenAI open source models. Many actually web service provider posted this. Okay, but my favorite one is the Turbo Scribe because this is fast. And then I copied the location of the audio file. Then I will browse that and then transcribe. So did you see that? I just went from here and then find the location of the audio file because everything Obsidian does is based on local. It stores all files, all notes, audio, video, attachment, text, everything in local files. So you can actually see what is the underlying file over the process. Okay, then I'll go with transcribe. I think this shouldn't take more than a minute. So transcription is done. Let me go over here. So you see, this is what I said during recording of this clip because I was just recording when I'm talking for this video. Let me download this as a text file and then I will and drop over here. So that means next time if I want to see the recording, sorry, not here, let me actually keep the recording script below the recording. This way I can identify stuff later. If I start working on this project, maybe 1 or 2 months later, I can identify what we discussed in the last meeting. Okay, so if you just click on this text file, you can actually open this your default text viewer, something like this. So for my case, the text file. But if you prefer to copy the text and directly as a part of this note, you can do this. But normally I don't do this because this creates a lot of noise because the transcription has a lot of conversation which I do not want to keep track or want to actually be part of my note. So I just try to keep the gist. And then what you can do, you can just copy this transcription and use AI to identify actionable items. So let me show you that process as well. Okay, identify actionable items from meeting. Okay. So the good thing about this is that means this will summarize, extract whatever you can. You can actually have conversation with your boss in future. That is what I said before. But remember, if something is sensitive or company secret, I would not suggest to use ChatGPT or something. In that case, many companies have their own LLM model, which you can utilize to summarize your meeting or any nitty-gritty details you want to identify from there, right? Cool. Now I believe you have the idea of how to take actionable meeting notes and keep track of all of your tasks using your daily notes. So let me show you again. So if you go to your daily notes, you have all of the tasks you assigned or you want to assign to your teammates, and you can actually make this daily notes more beautiful or attractive you want. But this is just the basic to show you the idea how you can get things done. If you find this video useful, and don't forget to like and subscribe because that is the only motivation keeps me moving forward and make more videos. I know you might have more questions or any details you want to know, and put your comments below in that case. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter, look into my blog for updated post, updated process to build your second brain and make note taking process smoother. Thank you very much for watching this long video. I hope you find values.